really got into this song back in the fall of 1993. Hitline was playing it. That's what I loved about Hitline Music's top 40 outlet at the time. They played the basics, some of the basic top 40 stuff, but they would stretch that playlist and include dance music that you never heard on the regular FM radio stations, and then stretch out and play some alternative stuff that not even MTV would play. MTV probably played this song, but Hitline was all over this. Jimmy Olsen Blues, man, it was just such a delight listening to this record on Hitline. I feel so good, man. They're getting so eclectic playing a song like this. Jimmy Olsen Blues by the Spin Doctors. Pocket Full of Kryptonite, the name of the album. The song was written from the point of view of Jimmy Olsen. He's hitting up on Lois Lane. He's saying to Lois Lane, come with me. Don't mess with Superman. I'm your man. I got a pocket full of kryptonite, which, by the way, weakened Superman. So that's quite funny in its way. Try to remember the lead singer of the Spin Doctors. His name was Chris Barron. Now, here's the deal. This is what I've been able to put together from research. Man, Chris Barron and John Popper, a blues traveler, attended the same high school in Princeton, New Jersey. Chris Barron and John Popper. They jammed together after school. John Popper would form Blues Traveler. Chris Barron, he went to college in Vermont. And then he returned to Princeton. Actually, when he was in college in Vermont, Chris Barron was in a couple of bands. One of the bands, I wrote it down, it was so funny. One of the bands that he was in was called Dead Alcoholics with Boners. Dead Alcoholics with Boners, yes indeed. Classic pub title, rock and roll title. And then he went back to Princeton. When he went back to Princeton, he got a job in a restaurant, got into music big time. Talking about Chris Barron now. He got into music big time, and he wrote Two Princes and Jimmy Olsen's Blues. John Popper came to Princeton with his band Blues Traveler one night. He was hanging out with Chris Barron one night, and Chris Barron shared with John Popper a couple of songs that he wrote. And John Popper said, "Come with us. Come with the band. Come with the Blues Traveler. Come with us to New York City. You can stay with us. Flop down with us in New York City." Chris Barron, he goes to New York City with $100 and acoustic guitar. John Popper forms this band. It's just a side project. Now remember, John Popper, his main band was Blues Traveler, but he formed another band called the Trucking Company. Chris Barron was incorporated into the band along with a Canadian guitar player. So there was a Trucking Company. But John Popper left the Trucking Company to work full time to devote all of his attention on Blues Traveler. Thus, you got Chris Barron, I forgot the name of the Canadian guitar player, but they added a couple of guys in Trucking Company. They became the Spin Doctors. Got a deal with it was Sony Records or Elektra or something like that. It was in 1991. Wrote it down somewhere, but again, I'm wading through my chicken scratch. Signed with Epic Records, Epic/Sony Records, Sony Records in 1991. Put out an EP in 1991. It was a live EP called Up for Grabs, and then Pocket Full of Kryptonite, released in 1991. Took a while for it to pick up, but boy, when it did, and of course, Little Miss Can't Be Wrong picked up on MTV, had that classic rock vibe to it. Sounded a little bit more classic rock maybe than alternative. I don't know why. It just kind of reminded me of the Doobie Brothers for some reason. Little Miss Can't Be Wrong did well. It went to number 17 here in the States, went to number 23 in the UK. That was in the fall of 92. Heavy rotation on MTV. And then early in 1993, Two Princes. Oh, God. That probably, no doubt, that helped the album soar into the platinum stratosphere. Two Princes went top 10 all over Europe. Top 10 in Germany, Norway, Netherlands, Ireland. Went to number 3 number 3 in England. And it went to number 7 here in the States, Two Princes. Ultimately, Pocket Full of Kryptonite, platinum 5 times over. One of the biggest albums of the 90s by the Spin Doctors. And now you got Jimmy Olsen's Blues. Gotta love that record. I showed love for it on this fantasy playlist. I hope you enjoy the record. Spin Doctors with Jimmy Olsen's Blues at number 21 on my fantasy playlist of October 17th, 1993.